Hi, hello. So, we last week we looked at one of my favorite games from my past, Master of Magic, 1994, by Simtex, published by Microprose. And as I was playing it and kind of ruminating on the gameplay and sort of its legacy, a plan kind of came together to look at the kind of what the legacy of Master of Magic is in 2018. The games that have come out that kind of fill a similar role or try and accomplish the same gameplay goals that Master of Magic did. So we're going to kind of look at the ones that. So it's an interesting legacy, and we're going to unpack it as we go through. Yeah, so the first one, the first real spiritual successor, I think the one that tried the most is Elemental War of Magic, which came out in 2010. That was published and developed by Stardock. And that I got really excited for that when it was announced. It came out. It sort of, I think, crashed and burned. I forget if I own a copy on Stardock's platform or not. But I never really got into it too much because it was just so maligned. And then they kind of shut that down and put out Fallen Enchantress, which was 2012, and then followed by Fallen Enchantress Legendary Heroes 2013. I only have access to the third one of those. I only have access to Fallen Enchantress Legendary Heroes. But there was a game that came out in 2012, published by developed by 1C, who's made stuff like IL-2, a bunch of other strategy games, and published by Paradox, which at the time was strange for them to publish other, not strange, but I never really played a lot of it, and it's kind of the first in the sequence of games that I own and have access to that we're gonna play, and this one doesn't come up too much as being a spiritual successor, but it feels like it might. So at the very least, I want to look at it. I haven't actually played it very much, so we're going to kind of do our initial dive into it and see how it plays and go from there. I am going to need a few moments to set up things here because this is a little different than my normal arrangement. So I want to do this. I meant to fix this. Oh, right, because this was originally a much larger screen. I used this for Master of Magic. I'm doing the wrong one. Stand by. I meant to set this up beforehand, but I didn't. It's embarrassing, I know. There we go. Everything's fine. Yeah, so we're going to kind of play through this. We're not going to spend too much time because we have other things that we want to get to. But yeah, this definitely seemed to, at the very least, if not in spirit, hit the same sort of Civ plus magic casting plus strategic battles to determine conflict, plus research, plus diplomacy. So we're gonna see how much of that it does. I'm just gonna stick with defaults here. I mean, I don't want to mess with it. I just kind of want to look at. Oops. So kind of similar, where we can choose to, yeah, we choose the, okay, very Master of Magic, choosing the race of creatures that will be leading. I mean, I clearly should be a ghost, right? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to not be a ghost if you can be a ghost.
Greetings, my lord. This is the main screen of the game. Here you can see the resources of your domain, the mini-map of the world, and your capital. From here you can also open the research window, the spell book, enter your capital, and command your troops.
That's like a 30% Sean Connery. Okay, so again, haven't played this before, so there's gonna be a little bit of kind of getting a hang of things here. Okay, so but we have some nice.
You have opened the research
Oh,
window.
this Sean Connery is
Here
good.
you can
Do me
choose
in.
a spell to research. Choose wisely and consider the information.
So we have a choice of 5. Similar. Okay, so very again. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of just pointing out parallels and kind of their take on it. So we at least have a few different kinds of magic. We have life magic, death magic, elemental magic. I don't know if I have access to those or not, but let's just click on all of our things here.
This is your spell book, which contains all the spells.
Okay, same sort of thing where you're casting spell. Yeah, see, this is already. This is exactly the sort of thing we're looking to play. So Arcane, Divine. Interesting. All right, it's all my units. Interesting that they maintain the right click to get more info. That's fun.
You have opened the diplomacy screen. From here, you can enter negotiations with other great mages who you have encountered. With them, you may.
Okay, so other mages and then gods. That's a very cool mechanic that Master of Magic definitely did not do. Everyone's indifferent to me, as all gods usually are. Okay. Yeah, I just saw that. Hall of Lords. I'm guessing this is where heroes will go. Again, multiple planes or multiple worlds. We've seen that before. Then a list of cities.
In the city view.
Okay, yeah. This is. Pumpkin Farm. That's pleasant. Okay, so, but more like sort of how Civ 6 is doing things. We're doing sort of not really districts, but tiles. Tiles are where you can place things. It's not just building. Yeah, you need construction sites, which is kind of cool. Which means you can't just spam buildings over and over again. So I guess we'll make our farm, since that's the only place we can. The only thing we can do here. The only thing we can make. Right click on the banner to demolish. What is left clicking? Okay, so this just. Okay. Making pumpkins.
To construct a building, choose one.
I figured that out. Thanks.
In order.
Okay. So is that separate from my pumpkin farm? I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so we can't just walk into water. That makes sense. Yeah, we have movement points. Magic node. Okay, yeah. We are very much hitting the same notes here. I swear, if there are sprites in here, I'm out. Okay, no. Okay.
You may finish your turn.
Pumpkins over there.
It appears there is another great mage in these lands.
This is an awkward overlay of information. Declare war. No, that's... Okay, so that's his territory, it looks like. You can't enter heavy... Yeah. Okay, so his territory is up there. I guess this is a neutral to my left? Or they're like barbarians?
The number of hexes a unit can travel in a turn.
I parse what's happening here. I want to fight him just to see how fighting works. Oh, okay, so not huge differences. The civilization style combat, no turn-based strategery or anything. That's interesting. I need to come help these guys. Interesting that it continually shows me, yeah, they're just considered neutrals. And let's go fight that guy, okay.
Your units can explore new territory.
Yeah, how it's always showing me production information, even though I'm not really in the mode to want that information, which is kind of awkward. I certainly understand if I wanted to open a layer, or like a layer of information that needed that. So there's definitely a... I mean, this was 2012, so not that long ago. This definitely has a very rudimentary feel to it. Okay, so we killed those men, those neutral men. Oh, we're gonna swap so things. Oh, we move a little slower. Okay. What determined that I was able to make similar? Okay, so instead of... Okay, interesting. So still... it's not super clear how long my pumpkins are going to take. Oh, it's over here. Okay, I see. So recruiting units and buildings are discrete, or are their own things. That's different. That's actually different from most games of this ilk. Usually a city has to focus on one thing or the other. We had a growth at a city growth at some point because my borders are larger. Yes, I guess maybe I'll save it. So this is actually very interesting, where money is specifically, maybe not specifically, but it's at least the first major purpose that I see is to buy units, not produce them through cities. That's interesting. And they'll be done in one turn, as will the pumpkins. Okay. These rats are gonna go, I assume, attack this neutral land. Oh, okay. Or die on neutral land.
In order to attack an enemy.
Yep. Kind of figured that out. Alright, so our pumpkins are complete. Yeah, like we have, it's... Okay, so it's... obviously, so buildings don't take money to. What does this little checkbox do? Mm-hmm. Chamber of Arrows. Farm is required for a Chamber of Arrows. That's interesting. I guess. Sure, let's make a shipyard or a harbor, and then work on some settlers. It's actually a very. That feels pretty cool to be able to have multiple avenues of production out of one city, both units and buildings. Yep, Jake's. I don't want to go fight him, obviously. Yeah, interface is a little problematic. I guess we could cast a spell. I don't know how long this lasts, but let's... Oh, that just happens. Okay, so yeah, just like in Master of Magic, magic units take gold income. I'm guessing... Interesting that my own units take magical income, magic upkeep as well. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So it looks like the rat's going after the neutral settlements.
Your units may capture cities.
So this is starting to feel like a very, I mean, I won't say basic, but it doesn't have a whole lot going on with it, but we'll keep on it. I captured a spell, I think. Okay, there was a spell in there. Okay. It's just a resource. No pigs. Yeah, that's a little... There's definitely some intuitiveness issues here wherein the tooltip is so heavily focused on the production layer of a tile versus if I can move there or not. Like, yeah, with enough trial and error, I can deduce that these are not places I can move to this turn because they're yellow gems, whereas this is a blue gem, which means I can move there. So I don't have enough points to do so. And instead it sets that as your task next turn, which is just, yeah. Like, the relevant information that I want right now is not how much production this tile has, it's whether or not I can move there, right? Like, I understand there's a way that you want to queue up orders for stuff, and I respect that, but we're gonna chill out here. How big is the map, we think?
You have received a new request, my lord. My lord, you have received the first humble request for your assistance. You may agree to grant it, or you may refuse.
Guess I can't
But
close this window.
who is asking. It is unwise to refuse quests offered by the gods. They may become quite angry if you refuse, and even more angry if you fail to complete a task.
Mine's worse. Okay. Okay. The gods want me to build a craftsman district for 50 gold. Okay. Can probably do that.
My lord, another world portal has been found.
I just need to kill these. Yeah, this. I'm sure I'm helping him take the city. What? Totally set that rat man on fire. What? Oh, they're gonna come kill me. Sort of. Yes. And then the skeletons will come kill me. Probably should send more mans over there. That's fine.
In their travels, your spells research is portals to other worlds. To
Guys.
enter a portal,
Guys.
simply send a unit to its hex. But I must warn you, my lord, that other worlds can be very dangerous.
Okay, so construction is complete. We have our arbor. The gods want us to make a craftsman district. Who am I to turn down the gods? I can't do that until I have populate. What? Do I only get one building per level of population? That seems awkward. It's the city. I guess we're gonna go try and establish a city up here, I guess. This seems like a cool place to put the city. I have learned the lightning bolt. Yeah, the actual information available in pop-ups is not particularly great. Like, I'm getting 4 mana from a pumpkin farm, because as we know, pumpkins make mana. This is just a thing people know. If your pumpkins aren't making mana, you're not doing it right. So it seems like you get one construction a population level. So as your city grows, your population goes up. Okay. I don't really want a boat, so let's make more bowmen. Just getting this sort of ambient collectible gold that I can do. See if I can take the town with my imps. I don't really care. This is just the thing I want to... Oh, I did it. That's just mine now. Deal with it, Ratman. Attempt to do some damage to these elementals before my bowmen die. Yeah, this... So that's a... Minotaur caves are a resource. That's interesting. I'm definitely feeling the crunch of the terrain over here.
It appears there is another great mage in these lands.
Just smash cut to my guy probably dying. Yep, these boys are dead.
Soften.
Okay. Let's try and bring them home, I guess.
I shall see you and wish you well.
Is this just his sigil?
Ashar would talk, and Ashar will.
Let's be friends. How do I tell them to just chill? Don't just defend. Okay. I probably should have sent them out.
Why kai el why Harry?
Why equalize sir?
I don't know what you're saying.
Ashar hopes we will talk again someday.
Why acrylic sir?
So okay, you can't stack units. That makes sense.
Dothan o Areth. Dorvaha, Dorvase.
Okay, I have more bowmans. This will be leveling up next turn. I've got a bunch of money, I guess. Make a ship. Something to do.
I doth ha risen. Nias a needy fothareth.
Take a look at the other portal at some point, or the other. That's the idea, anyway. You just chill. I've received a demand.
Parley. I demand parley.
So diplomacy here is through demands. He wants 70 mana or a summon imps. I'm inclined to say no. Only because I don't have, that's most of my mana. Probably should have made a pact with him as well, but okay. We have growth here, so we can do another thing. Let's make the craftsman district that the gods so clearly desire in 2 turns. Alright, these are my enemies. I've been just walking around them. Keep resting. I would... okay. Oh, he's casting a spell on me. Kill my settler, which was... I shouldn't have leveled him out over there, but whatever. Don't really care. So, as in Civilization, you can shoot. Not particularly strong. Maybe he'll want peace now. Peace in our time. I can't talk to him for 4 turns. Okay. Oh, that has quite a range on it.
You have received a new request, my lord.
But I had like 15 turns to... Oh, I did it. Here's 50 gold. Thanks. Got my sweet ride, which I will use to eventually... Well, I probably should have just landed on these. That was silly. Well, that's generous. Now if I make a farm, get 50 more gold. What? Make more bowmen, I guess? I feel like I should cast a spell here. Like, yeah, there's a visual problem that this has, I feel. Zap. It's not hard to quickly to find the information you want, but it feels ponderous to do so. Okay.
Soften.
Just rest, I guess. Wow, that's got some range on it. Okay. We'll just kite them. Ta-da! And I can just use these. Okay. No idea how effective that is. Oh, you can kind of... Okay, that's kind of cool. You can kind of just zap them to where they should be. Right, this is actually a place. This has a... Okay, so you can only... Okay, if it has a thing, you can only do it once. Okay, let's make a Goblins Guild. Oops, forgot my ship is going just the wrong way.
I sure want to ask you
Sure.
a question. Gadario Areth. Why equalize Sir or Ilhaf?
It's gonna take a long time to do this. I don't think these are the units. Yeah, so I'm gonna... have these just chill. They have some sort of debuff on them. So we're doing... Okay. We're doing a lot of the similar things that Master of Magic is doing. Gold and gold and gold. Can I do multiple? You can. Okay, that's pretty cool. You can queue up multiple units in a city. Friends with the Goblin. That's nice. Yeah, I need to not have these guys sit here and get sniped. Kill my settlers, I'll kill yours.
Why equalize Sir?
Again, I kept them in range. Did they? Oh. I do declare there are some serpents that are now dead. Okay. Leave them there just to defend, I guess. I do want to still go look at the other world at some point. I mean, this is going to be near the thing, so maybe I can have the ship shoot it. Yeah, I don't know. See, my initial impression of the impression of this is that it is a very light dip into the pool of what Master of Magic and Sid are doing. Cast a spell. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah. I should really just bring them out and wait till
A new spell has been researched, my lord.
he's willing to peace or whatever. Okay, so we built the Goblins Guild here. That's cool. So can I just do that and have 6 units appear? Ghost Wolves. Okay. Well, shame on me for having them so close.
Why hurry? Hey, retreat.
It's a leviathan. Looks like a trout. Or a catfish of some kind. Ship versus the Lord. The Lord is offering his services to you. Hello, the Lord. You look a lot like Saruman. Okay. Oh, he's just. This is just how he does.
Attention! Spears ready! Irelta Happy!
Shot cannons at that fish. Things are going well.
Hush!
Good job, boat.
Dorvaha, Dorvase. Spear? Oh, you know we spear, yes? Garify.
It's a very goofy laugh. I just want to end the war so we can go to this other
Darling.
portal to see what's going on there, and then probably move on.
It was a good parley. Yes? No?
No. A non-aggressive treaty. So the treaty is not threatening at all. It's yes. Now we can direct our attention to killing this this mini boss of these elementals, so we can go through the portal. I mean, wow, that's a lot of men's there. I have a lot of men's. So.
Dorvaha, Dorvase.
Easy come, easy go. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Point, we shoot.
Yeah. Just the range on his attack, too. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Just murdered all those imps. Okay.
You have received a new request, my lord.
All right, Sure. Okay, so no, you don't. It is a queue. Okay, that's a little more reasonable. I was concerned that it was. So these guys are not. They have no spiritual magic. I mean, these guys are just gonna die, so might as well put them to use. Where are you going? Oh, because I won the combat, I'm forced him out. That's actually not bad for what I was trying to do there.
Release aim.
Release and then aim. It's fine.
Ça il va y caer.
Okay, I do like that you can click to speed through things. Sure. Okay. And that's a scary thing that I just ended up killing. Ashbirth. Alright. Warlock is not a game I would continue playing. It definitely takes the formula of Messer Magic. It takes the formula which, you know, in turn took from Civilization. We have the spell casting, similar to MOM. We have a random selection each turn of the varying disciplines, and then we can cast those. We can build up to that with the mana. So it's the same loop of casting spells and the effect in combat, but there's no turn-based combat or yeah, it feels very basic. This feels like a very rudimentary implementation of the formula, even for 2012. It doesn't seem to have not that the MLM had a ton of depth to it, but I feel like, I don't know, the pace is definitely a little faster because you can get units up separately from your building, so it definitely gets going faster. Yeah, the deployment, and it also looks really basic. It looks like this UI, not to get picky, but the UI looks very rudimentary. It gets the job done. Like communicates the information that it needs to, but yeah, I feel like this is a very surface level version of this game that isn't particularly interesting. Like, and we're trying to move things on with these quests that just give money. Apparently, there's a I looked at it briefly in my initial. There's a gods panel somewhere. Right, okay. So none of these gods I'm sure there's a way to interact with these gods at some point. Yeah, it just, I mean, maybe it opens up a little bit more with time, but it feels too basic. It feels there's not enough here, and it takes. It's like somebody played played Master of Magic. Went, okay, cool, we can make that. It didn't really think about it. It didn't really, it has the alternate worlds now. There's 5 alternate worlds, not just one. Yeah, it's. I can see why this kind of came and went, and I think this is with some expansions, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Yeah, this has a smattering of content, but okay, let's move on. Let's move on to our next bit of. So next we're going to look at the original series of games that tried to bring this genre back. Starting with Elemental, as I said, in 2010, leading us up to Fallen Enchantress. And then Fallen Enchantress Legendary Heroes in 2013. So let's take a look at Legendary Fallen Enchantress. So I played a little bit of this. I'm trying to remember if I played Elemental, because and Stardock used to have a platform, and they may still. I may have to look into that. Wonder if it'd be worth looking at. If it'd be worth looking at Elemental if I own it. I don't remember if I do. Okay, let's. Oh, it says right there I played 0 of this. Okay, I'm pretty sure I played the original one a little bit. I'm certainly not going to say I played a ton of it, but so yeah, this is next in line in the Elemental, which I think this actually builds on it. It was mentioning the next in series now available, so we do have. This is not the latest, and yet this is not available on Steam. So Sorcerer King Rivals is the latest. Man, they just are running with this series. For $15. Sorry, $30. Okay. Anyway, we're getting distracted. Let's see what this game does. I'm going to take a crack at this without the tutorial. I feel confident enough in my knowledge of things in general. Okay, so we have. So will dictate the spells we unlock. So this was 2013. I don't know if this art style is specifically lo-fi or not. Sure. Good lord. Defaults are fine. Who opposes me? Oh, everybody.
Your father was Tark the Valiant, who led the gladiators' rebellion that freed the slaves of the world. From the time you were old enough to hold a sword, you stood at his right hand, in his war councils, and rode at his side into battle.
Okay. So, we're skipping the tutorial in the anticipation that we'll be able to figure this out. Okay, so interesting. Civ style research tree. Let's search the knowledge. So we'll settle here. So yeah, I'm gonna just do a kind of a skim through this, just looking for parallels, things that it's bringing from the original. Hope. Well, I hope I don't let you down. Okay. So these are seasons that are passing instead of turns. I do kind of like when games will break down units of time into things that make sense instead of just a year passes, a second year passes. Like seasons, you know, it not mechanically important, but it feels interesting. So we have money, research, fame, and mana. Okay, and back to the unified production for cities. Gildar. That sounds like a Princess Bride thing. This is currently a village. Okay, so it's gonna work its way up. Let's. Okay, I really like. So this is at the very least this is nice to see, where it shows you what this will lead to, or things you can do from there. That's cool. I like to kind of see if you know, and it prevents you needing to see the whole tree at once. At the very least, you can kind of say, oh, okay, this thing will lead to more statues and what those things do. Yeah, I'm operating at a deficit here, so I guess a merchant seems. It's a very crunchy sound. Capital city. My threat level is weak. So, can I do multiple things at once, or is this a queue? It is a queue. Okay. Okay, so I see. Those were buildings. This actually might be a separate thing after all. Nope. One queue. Okay. There was, so this was one of the big draws for this was the ability to make your own, kind of customize your units. I won't get too much into this because looks like there's a decent amount of depth here. Similar to the Civ games, Galactic Civilization, Master of Orion. I'm trying to remember if the later moves did that or not, where you could design your ships and your units and send them off and determine if they were up to snuff or not. And it depends on how much depth they give. It can be a double-edged sword, right? If you have too much choice and you don't know what, it can very easily make a very stunted unit and kind of screw yourself. So we'll trust that the templates. Our kingdom report is a lot to look at once. So it looks like these are our victory conditions. The Master Quest. Okay. Standard ledger. And what I'm working on. Okay, not a ton happening, but respectable. This is my army. I'm guessing this is things I can loot here. So I've seen this. Alright, the enchantments I can cast. Okay. Summer. A first aid kit. A briefcase. A briefcase. Oh, okay, so Wisely does not do what I think it does. Okay. Do I have to equip this, or do I just have it? Okay, so hero units have slots and spells. Okay. And her own tree, that's pretty cool. Such as it is. Shard harvesting. So it is automatically changing the turn once I've run out of things to do, which is interesting. I guess I'll just use this book. I read that book. Let's go try and fight this. Okay, WASD doesn't do anything. Arrow key. Oof. $16 and 10. Nothing compared to my might. Okay. We are back to the turn-based strategy. Wow, that was not very effective. This is my hero, right? How many spells can we cast? Make the Guardian Wind. You just can't make things. That's not fair. Shalazar. So I don't have any spells of my own. These are abilities, it looks like. Okay. It's an interesting sound. Okay, definitely not as hard as oh, those level 4, level 5 things. Definitely not as hard as Master of Magic was in the first battle. This path is selected to determine what traits are available when you gain levels. Okay, so you pick a class. Be careful. This will be your path. I feel like she's an assassin. This is okay. Okay, so interesting. So the different traits have their own trees. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna think too hard here. I'm just basically gonna try and get a taste of what this is doing, and then move on. So Hope. City of Hope. I made that cleric. So can I get a... That's kind of a rough icon. I mean, probably want to expand our zone of control after we are finished building this militia. Maybe I want that done first. Okay, that feels good. I like when the interface is intuitive. I don't know that I have any world spells or enchantments, given that I'm a fallen enchantress. Also, I find it very strange that I can tweak the text rate just right here on the front screen. Usually that's locked by a few things. So here are spells. Okay. Per essence. I don't know what essence is. Let's cast this. Okay. Oh, I kind of want to just chill to gain some health back, so maybe I'll avoid these spiders. I do, so this actually feels... Okay, so you also dictate the path. Okay. If you want it to be like a research, like a research place, or a place for fighting, or a place for production. Just a town seems good. Okay. So I actually like the whole, are they healing as they're walking? That appears to be the case. Oh, all these things are happening all at once. Are there enemies in my territory? Oh, okay. Click on it and attempt to build on it. Okay. Is this in the queue of... can't currently harvest things. Okay. That's a lot of things all at once. So this, I did make a thing, right, when I was here? Yes, the monument has been made. Okay. Looks like my units are healed. Not quite. Let's wait a turn. I'm gonna go kill the spider soon. Yeah. Okay. Good enough. It's me. Let's fight some spiders. Yeah, initial impressions of this are actually pretty positive. The interface is a little flat. It feels a little. I'm getting murdered by spiders. Yeah, it feels a little flat, interface wise, but I think they were going for that, for lack of a better term, cell shaded style. Sort of. Like I remember when they were talking about Elemental, when Stardock was first pitching this as the next Master of Magic. So her range is incredible. Interesting, accuracy goes down with range. It definitely had. It's not like it's not cell shaded. Rainwave has followed. I don't know if Rainwave is watching, but if Rainwave is watching, thank you very much, Rainwave. It's a good friend of mine. Rainwave.cc is a video game music website that is awesome. Hello, Rainwave. You are watching indeed. Highly recommend. If you are into video game soundtracks, if you're into video game remixes, you go check out rainwave.cc. I might actually start, for when I'm doing streams that need music, I will start doing a Rainwave stream. So, but thank you very much, Rainwave. We are checking out the spiritual successors to the Master of Magic game from '94, kind of briefly touching. Yeah, I suspected that you had a Twitch widget. If you want to send me a link to that, I'll set that up for when I do when I need a soundtrack, because that'd be awesome. All right. How are you doing today, Rainwave, as well? I haven't talked to you for a little bit. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you want to shoot me a link to it on the various ways that we communicate, I'll set it up after this. Excellent. Okay. Well, then I will continue on. But it's good to see you, man. So yeah. So we do have the three different trees here. I do want to shard harvest some shards. I want to look at the research again. The interface, the style of the game that it was going for, the aesthetic, it wasn't quite cell shaded. It was more of like a blocky, ink flowing from a pen, like an old quill, sort of not Art Deco, but a very Art Deco, or kind of a copper. If I was gonna, like, the font is a big tell in this game, right? Like the kind of copper plate-ish, very blocky, very. There aren't swooping. It's not swooping cursives of the Majesty. It's a very square and rigid sort of aesthetic. And that it kind of holds it back a little bit, but I do like the depth that at least I'm seeing on this initial playthrough. I do remember the Elemental kind of not having this level of depth, or at least not feeling like there was enough as much choice as this has. So, a dark crevasse. Well, I mean, we obviously want to go to the dark crevasse. Everyone enjoys it. An emaciated corpse has been half pulled into the spider's burrow. That should be possessive. The corpse has little value except for a single item, which I told everybody about and got some fame. Okay, so we're dealing with these different items. I can just equip all of these. Okay, I'm holding a first aid kit briefcase in one hand, a spider venom sack in the other, and knives in my third hand. It's a little weird, but that's fine. Let's just keep digging through stuff. Sure, right? If they're not going to stop me from equipping everything I find on the ground, then I will do just that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit longer with this before we move on to our last game. I kind of want to see where this goes as I go further out from my starting area here. Let's check out the Howling Chasm. Build a monument here to tap into the air power location. Okay, so we're doing the thing that Master Magic did and Warlock did, is to that. And I believe our last game will do this too. Is the idea of tapping into the ley lines of magic, or the nodes or fonts of magic that exist in the world to get access to them. Is very much a thread throughout all these games. How you do it varies from game to game. So this looks like this is the only purpose of this is to service that. Interesting, where I rotate it eventually swoops me back. Okay, so there's a right rotation and a cosmetic rotation. It looks good. Like, I like the look of this game, even with the kind of blocky hands thing that they're doing, which is I suspect in 2013 a stylistic choice. I feel like we can go beat up those guys. So 24. Okay, so they do heal while they're walking around. Cool. All right, let's just keep walking. Yeah. So I will say, I kind of wish games had something like this. Similar games to this, like similar Civ games, where if you don't really, I mean, look, if I want to stop and fiddle with my town and my research and my magic and my ledgers and my all that stuff, I will do that, right? But it at the very least, it feels good to move units around and then just have the turn end. I say that now. Of course, there might be a point where I'm like, oh crap, I wish I had gone back and done that before time advanced, or maybe even a better notifier that time is advancing right now, because if I'm not paying attention to the thing on the upper left, what season it is, I could be whiling away all this time and not realizing what's going on. I'm going to keep battling manually, just because I want to see what this does. So I've noticed that all of my units have a blue bar underneath them, and I initially thought this was their mana, but now I'm curious what that actually might be. It's like a stamina, or I don't know. It's interesting. So it goes up as they do stuff. Nice shot. Range on that is impressive. Yeah, like the style, like it's definitely kind of is in the same vein as Borderlands, ish, in the not the as heavy cell shaded, but in the like the starkness of the outlines. Yeah, extremely excited about a new Borderlands. That needs to happen sooner or later. All right, so Darkling Warriors were no challenge. Nice little combat log here. Let me get a pelt. And then I can level up my lady here. Tip the fedora. That seems useful. Oh, I don't actually have these. Yeah, it's a little confusing. It looks like I have these, but no, these are things that I can learn. Sure, I'll be a healer. Or should I get some spells? Wait. A little confusing. Continue on. Champions are available. Your fame has grown far and wide, attracting legendary heroes to your cause, but only one will join your service. So I can choose 2 different ladies. We'll overlook the missing punctuation there. So yeah, it's also interesting where the spell books are in pods, where you don't just have one spell, but you have a collection of spells. For example, on the right we have 3 earth spells, and on the left we have 2 fire spells. I feel like We're on the Desert Fire is probably the name of the game, although she looks more tanky. And she is in fact a tank. So let's maybe go with the tank. Give me an achievement. Interesting that she just appeared near one of my units and not back on base. So, so we've seen another constant between these what now are 3 games, at the least that we've looked at directly on this stream, is the hero units and where you can get them. Specifically, in all 3 games so far, hero units just happen. They happen randomly is probably not the right word, but they have it's impossible, or it's difficult for the player to determine when you're going to get a hero unit. You can expect to get one at some point, right? That's probably what the code is, right? It's probably, set a range between 2 and 10 days or turns or seasons and get them a hero somewhere in there. But and again, it's a random hero, so there's this interesting kind of random card element of the game dealing you a card, or in this case, giving you 2 cards, letting you pick one of a hero unit that you would ideally build around, or kind of add peripheral units to kind of make an army and use them. So we're seeing that's continued through the series as well, and that's interesting. Kind of surprised, like I said, that they just dropped her right next to my current army, but that's fine. She can go out on her own. Maybe I'll put her with a group. We can all be friends. I don't know if I actually need to. So we have more shards, which we can't do anything with yet. No, she does not play well with others. I'm gonna just... Okay. Can I move them all at once? Interesting. So I can't move them all as one unit. I can stack them together, but... Oh, there they go. I mean... Let's see. Okay, I can trade items between my 2 heroes. That's pretty cool. Probably give her the the health kit. We'll go check out the Lost Library. Wow, okay. Nice, that gave us the boost we needed to finish shard harvesting. We'll just do one in each tree for now. It looks like I finished making a militia. That's fun. I'm gonna send him over to hang out with. So yeah, okay. So I do wonder, yeah, if you have multiple units out and you exhaust one of their movement points, it won't continue the turn until all of your units are exhausted. That's a smart way of doing it. What should I build here? Well, clearly I need to build the shard. I spent all that time researching how to build it. Charms we can build, sorcery. Wow, there's a lot that each of these unlock. Yeah, there's a very appealing amount of depth here, just from the research tree alone. Okay. I'm gonna send her out to meet up with the militia, and they're gonna continue on. Or maybe we'll all go fight these skeletons together. Guard. Okay, so as cities grow, so cities themselves have a decision tree, which I always appreciate more than less, wherein you decide what kind of city it's going to be. In this case, we get free improvements. I don't know if these are ones that I can build normally, or if these are the choices that I can make for specifically. I believe I chose settlement or base town. We'd want slums. Let's make a grocer. Okay. So so building the shard thing just happened. It did not take, or if it did take a lot of time, I didn't pay attention and notice that. But let's mine that. So we are accruing metal, and I do like the potential. And okay, so this is very cool in that I like games where I don't know I found all the things yet, and that's just a personal a thing that I enjoy. But I like to have a top bar that gets filled with various things that I'm finding and constructing. It's neat to explore the things that I can do in the game. Okay, so let's resume our march towards. Let's just make one giant army, right? These guys love to laugh at me. All right, so we have some. Getting a little bit of mana. I'm not sure I should burn it necessarily. So, and also turn order isn't necessarily super clear. I mean, sorry, I should say, I see the turn order and that's very clear. How it's determined is not clear. Because in previous battles, it was more about mix between the two sides of who went first. I wonder if there's a speed characteristic that I'm not seeing here, but anyway. No? Okay, so actually I misread it. It's bottom up. Okay, so some sort of iconography to establish that would have been nice. Okay. Now I can't pan with the mouse, with the keyboard arrows that I could before. That's weird. Let's just pass. Okay, they're tougher than the average, what are these things called? Darkling. Interesting. Stab. Okay, so not... Difficulty is light but manageable. I did all defaults. Well, I say that as they get kind of reamed here. Interesting that you could incur flanking attacks. That's kind of cool. Let's make it the spell. Probably should have cast this earlier. But, although now we're going to be in melee, that may not have been very efficient. Okay, so there is flanking. That's actually very cool. If you set them up, adjacent units will attack. That's actually very cool. I kind of wish they would tell you that instead of just discovering it through trial and error, but this is where we are. These guys over here to think about what they... Okay, I see. So the blue bar is stamina. So even the units themselves, the individual throwaway units, have their own little abilities, which is very cool. Yeah, I have not been taking advantage of that, and that's pretty cool. So let's use one of those now, because there's no point in not doing it. You generate the stamina through combat, so might as well put it to use. Okay. I'm gonna give that to her. So this is initiative. Okay, so that must determine, just like your Dungeons and Dragons, that determines turn order as initiative. It's not initially listed anywhere. And it's not on the main stat line, but 11-4. That seems like a thing I don't want to have on hand. Okay. Okay, so her model changes as you change equipment. Always appreciate that. I know how much work goes into doing that. It's not easy to make, lots of people when they play JRPGs and stuff are like, well, why doesn't MC's armor change when I put on this in Persona? It's like, there's a exponential amount of hours that go into each character needing to put on clothes, and I mean, to be fair, the weapons change, which I always appreciated in Persona games and similar games. But it's a lot of work to do that, and sometimes it's not really worth it. You don't really necessarily want to see your character in 30 different outfits as you're going through a story. It can be distracting. But here, it makes sense, and it's cool to see. Okay, so we've unlocked a bunch of items. I don't know if this means I can make them or that I can. I just have them. I doubt I just have them. I'm sure these are things I can make somehow. I'm guessing there's a jewelry or a smithy or something that I can build to craft items, because items they're throwing a bunch of items at me as time is going on here. message from Umber. Oh, we have our first NPC faction. Do not trespass onto these lands, or the kingdom you have built shall crumble to dust. Let's be friends for now. I don't really want to... Okay, I see his territorial line. He's expanding. I have not been expanding at all. And he is neutral towards me. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't intend to get into a war at this point. That is a very strong elemental. And as such, we have no interest in fighting him. So maybe we'll just take our business elsewhere. Now that thing we might be able to beat up. Alright, so... yeah, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of... we should probably build a settler. I feel like we need to start getting different cities doing different things. Or sorry, a pioneer. Greetings, your kingdom is strong. You know your people are mighty warriors, yet surely you know of Eldrana's prophecy. It is the Empire of Resoln, whose rise he foretold not long ago. To be first among all nations, that is our destiny, not yours. I'm hopeful that we can... Oh, this is actually... Sorry, I mistook the other... So we have two different... NPCs that we are interacting with. Resoln and Umber. Each have their own... it looks like they each have two cities, so I'm already behind. What are my options? So diplomacy is always a very interesting and tricky thing to implement in games. I've worked on a few of my own projects where I've tried to tackle this, and it can be... I still feel like it's a design space in games that is not explored fully. Like a really good game that does diplomacy with as much fidelity that you can integrate isn't really used, and I wonder if it's because people wouldn't find it as interesting as others might. I would love to have a game where, and this again something that I've worked on in the past, but where diplomacy is like 80% of the game, is how you interact with these. And yeah, writing good AI is not easy. Even very not necessarily AI specifically, but computer decision making, even on a very basic level, it gets very complicated very quickly, as I'm sure you can imagine. So let's see what level of diplomacy we have here. I would like to talk about... I can either declare war. I can have propose a trade. Oh, we can trade knowledge. Okay. I can pay her to declare war on someone. That's interesting. A non-aggression pact. Is this like the value of it? The perceived value of it. Wait, did that actually happen? Wait, that's confusing. Okay, I don't know if that actually went through or not. That's... yeah, Rainwave says, can't imagine the amount of writing and testing it would take either. Yeah, it's in my personal development of a diplomacy AI, the easiest thing was mapping out everything you wanted it to do, right? And it makes perfect sense. You spend a ton of time developing. It will take, because the way to do it is weights, right? You have the AI, you break down how it thinks into how it's weighting these other things, and how it comes to its decisions, and what things it thinks about, and the scope of the decisions, or the scope of the things it can see in the game to make those decisions. but actually developing that in a way that you can test and debug is incredibly difficult, because it's one thing. So you and kind of what I had to do was basically have it spill out its brain every cycle of game. Like, tell me why you made this decision. If anyone watches Westworld, kind of the same thing that they would do, where they, even in the early season 1, where they would ask the hosts, why did you say that? And the AI would break down the weights and measures that it used to make those decisions. So it's incredibly difficult to debug that, especially if it's just one person doing it. If you have like a team of QA or even devs, it certainly lightens the load, but it's almost exponential, the amount of things you have to think of and consider to make sure that it does what you want it to do. You can make an AI that, and I keep saying AI when certain people like the distinction between AI and just algorithms that churn, because AI implies some sort of learning that it does on its own, and I'm not implying that. I'm not implying machine learning. I'm not implying sentience. I'm just implying a system that makes decisions based off of weights and measures that it has scope to. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack there. Anyway, we were going to attempt to attack this demon gargoyle troll thing. I don't know. It has some scouts that I can talk to. Hi. Oh, so okay, these are her scouts. This is weird. It no longer lets. Oh, it's existing. Okay, so that I see. That was a very kind of clunky way to do that, but okay. Let's attack this thing. Yeah, and Rainwave. I know one of the interesting things that the Rainwave app will do in terms of serving up. So you can vote on certain songs or albums or genres, and it will try and serve that to the voting for each cycle, but also think about the requests that people have put in, what's already been played. Like, there's a lot. It's certainly not diplomacy, but I'm sure that wasn't easy either. So I know you've dipped your toe into that. Oh, this thing is destroying me. Oh, he just gets to keep attacking. That's not very fair. Defense. Okay, he's proving to be a little hard to hurt here. Okay, maybe not that hard. That's a good punch sound. Second attack. Ow. Yeah, Rainwave. It took a few attempts, but in the end, it's just a Boolean flag. Can I play this? Why can't I play this? And timestamp. Yeah, but I mean, everything kind of breaks down. Like every decision you could break down in any system to that kind of thing, right? And it's just that extrapolated out, based on the scope of the problem you're trying to solve. So. Yeah, sound design, probably not the strongest part of this. He's just... Being able to attack 3 times in a row is a little cheatsy, I gotta say. but you know he's a special creature, I suppose. So. I need to fling arrows at him without. So it's a little strange to right-click on things to attack them, but to left-click on things to use that ability. I want to say hi to everyone who might be watching from Fubol's channel. This is one of the Colony of Gamer community people. Actually, he set up our Colony of Gamers Twitch community that we're trying to foster between everyone on the site and the community who is streaming. So props to him for setting that up and hosting us. Try and build this community up a little bit. But yeah, it's left clicking to use things as a target, and right click to attack is a little clunky. He's gonna murder me while I. So that must be a stamina thing. Yeah. Well, maybe not. Okay. We only lost 2 units. Your sacrifice will be remembered. Not really. I've already forgotten you. Okay, so she's definitely gonna be a defender, right? She's a tank. Our third mage that we've encountered. Okay. I think that's a good look at this. I'm gonna move on to our last game just to keep things going here. I think I might actually come back and play this, which I cannot say the same for. I can't say the same for Warlock. This actually has a lot of depth to it. And this is, I believe this has all the DLC installed, whatever level of DLC. Maybe it came with a bunch of DLC. Actually, it doesn't have any DLC according to Steam, but yeah, let's move on to our third and final game of tonight, which will be Planar Conquest. So this is a very interesting. This is a very interesting story in terms of the legacy of these games, the legacy of Master of Magic. So this is the company is called Wastelands, and the whole pitch, they had a Kickstarter in 2014 where they brought one of the designers from Master of Magic on there in the attempt to make the true successor, and they called it Worlds of Magic. And that was 2015. And the Kickstarter succeeded at, I don't know by how much. The game came out in 2015, quickly kind of sunk in beneath the waves of obscurity. And we were talking about this on the stream previously, and Jack, Darkicker Jack, pointed out that there was a newer version of it called Planar Conquest that had come out 2 years ago, and it was like $3 on Humble Bundle on sale. So I grabbed it because I want to see what a 2016 game of Master of Magic, allegedly developed by or with some insight from one of the original designers, looks like. This has a 53 on the Metascore on Metacritic. I literally know nothing about it, which is the best position to be in because I have no preconceptions about what this will do or try to do. But we're going to see if we can draw any parallels between this and the other games. Okay, so it's a Unity game. We have the Unity startup screen, which certainly not something to hold against it. Okay, we have things happening.
That will eclipse everything that came before it, without the old gods to stop them. The Sorcerer Lords have risen to claim the rule of the universe, and the plains tremble in their wake. Yet, in In the darkness, another evil power has awoken. The unhallowed are marching forth to poison and corrupt all the known life. As one of the Sorcerer Lords, will you unite the planes under a stern rule, or will you let them rot and perish in chaos?
Those are my only two options. What if I want to build an agricultural legacy for myself? I'm going to argue with cutscenes all night. So yeah, it's very interesting. So in this stream, in the previous stream where we played Master of Magic, we've only looked at 4 of what is probably 8 games total that are all branching off of. Well, Master of Magic is 1, maybe 7 or 8 that are all branching out of Master of Magic. And it's interesting that there really hasn't been one that has had the same impact as Master of Magic, and I don't know if that's because the games haven't been. I mean, I can say with confidence that Warlock wasn't a good game, so I know that had some play with why they didn't do well. But I'm curious what the you need to calm down here. I'm curious what the demand for a game like this is right now. Because you look at the market in past 5 years in the strategy market. You have games like Civilization 5 and 6 that have been dominant. They are juggernauts. They have come into this almost legendary level of following, and they have this cycle, kind of this ebb and flow, where as the new Civ game comes out, it's a little rough around the edges and people are a little hesitant on it, but the previous one has all the DLC. It's completely fleshed out. I don't know that. I think this might be too similar to Civ. This kind of Civ plus Magic. I'm gonna need to turn this audio down in the game, or at least the music. Whew. Funny. All right. So yeah, I just don't know if it's an issue with there not being demand for it or not being good games, because at the very least, Fallen Enchantress seemed to have depth there. It seemed to have things to do. Equipment and spells, and the trees are nice and big, and lots of ways to win. Okay, so am I picking all of these? There is no tutorial, by the way. Okay, so you gotta have at least one plane. Okay, so what if I want Prime and Paradise? Difficulty... Let's just keep everything at default. So we're picking our faction. We have 8 different... which don't have... So they're not really telling me the discrete numbers of the different factions. Usually they'll say +1 to production or -10 to unrest or whatever. But here it's just high production output, poor growth. So already my decision making is a little more abstract than compared to others. The high men seem to be the default. I'm gonna try and stay as default as possible. I'll create my own sorcerer, which starts by picking a portrait, sure. Middling to decent art here. This guy looks like lots of dragons. I thought this said Danferno, and I thought this was someone named Dan who was in Inferno, and I was... Yeah, this Skull Snake Man seems cool. Let's call him Skulls, because he likes skulls. Oh my god. Okay. That's a lot of things to pick from. So let's go back and pick a pre-made, because I don't want to spend a ton of time. But I already appreciate that. I like choice. I like depth. Everyone knows that. Who has heard me talk at least once. Let's, I guess, pick the Skullman. He's a tier 9 Death Skullman. Okay, he's a hero. Okay, now we're getting actual numbers here, which is interesting. So again, identical to most of these games, we have a race of creatures and we have the sorcerer that drives them, and those are distinct choices. He's all about death. I mean, you kind of have to be with that portrait. Okay. Reject. Druid Henge, for example, may grant you another discipline. Okay. Welcome to Planar Conquest. I'm a Mage King set on conquering the world. Okay. Okay, so exact same win conditions as Master of Magic and the first couple games, where you either win by defeating the other players or cast the I win the game spell. Looks like we're not, in lieu of a tutorial, we're putting little help icons on every bit of the interface. Okay, let's click through the interface here. Mini map on and on, off and on, sure. Okay, literally the name of the thing from Master of Magic called Surveyor. Cool. Notifications, so we have gold, we have food, we have magic. Par for the course. Research per turn. This is literally what Master of Magic did. So okay, so they are not shying away from that. Magic Mirror. Okay, so yeah, we are playing in this space freely. I haven't met anybody, so I can't do the diplomacy. Here's my spellbook. Okay, so we have a help thing. Research book is used to invent new spells. You always have 8 spells to choose from. Okay. Cost of casting. That you filter through. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Okay, so it sounds like we are going to be doing tactical battles. Okay. Okay. So I has these spells. Recall hero. Yeah, this is okay. This is the closest thing I've seen to an actual spiritual successor so far. I have not played the Worlds of Magic, but this is its sequel, so this is the closest thing I've seen to essentially being Master of Magic in a modern setting. Okay. I guess we should be researching something. Ghost Touch. Okay, so we have all the information we need about the spell, of which there is plenty. Black Ice sounds cool. Raise some mummies. Let's just do Ghost Touch for a thing to do. It'll take 82 turns. No problem. Actually, that's probably a bad idea. Let's research things small first. 12 turns. That's better. Got my faves. These are my fave spells. We have 10 different tiers of magic, 0 through 9. Which, at least in D&D, are usually cantrips, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing I can... Can I hold down to do multiple? No? out the different. Interesting. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two. The tabs on the left and tabs on the right, but we'll figure it out. Okay, that's our book. City management. What is that? Czech? Piotr Trybunalski. It's like it's Polish or something. Okay. Actually, was there more to that? There was 11. There were 10 more pages of that. Unrest. Yep, same. Very, very similar distribution of units as to MOM. Okay. Well, they are not shy about sharing, about displaying information, which if you're going to do a game like this, you absolutely need to do. Owning more than 15 cities will decrease your income. Okay, so we have sort of the Demens thing from... Okay. Enjoy your lunch, Rainwave. Eat well, my friend. Because here's who's stationed. How this is set up is a little strange. Lander. That's the city name. Sorry, it almost sounded like a noun. Like this is your lander. It's like, no, that's the name of the city. Call it Landair. Here. Landair. Well, Landair. Here we go. Okay, let's construct a building, I guess. Yeah, I mean, come on. This is all of these things are, and realize when I say that this is doing things that Master Magic did. I'm not. This is not a negative. It's not a pejorative to say that. It's just the intent here was to discover how much of a successor they're trying to make, and it's clear they're trying to make almost a direct iteration on the game, not just in the spirit of, but here is this game brought to a modern platform with some things added on. Miners Guild, I guess. Okay. Weird. It's kind of strange how it moves things around down here, but okay. Here's all the things I own. Okay, cool. Unit. Yep, I keep not going through the whole thing. Okay, so stats pretty similar, although we have some saves, which I don't think were in the original. These are very. This is actually very 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. The different kinds of saves. Fort, Reflex, and Will. Yep. Okay. There is the art style is interesting. It's definitely going for more of a I don't want to say mobile game because that's not fair, but it's going for the sharp, bright fantasy aesthetic that lots of mobile games like Clash of Kings, but a little more definition to it. So I'm not trying to say it looks bad. It's a very specific modern art style, which makes sense. Crafting, I don't think there was crafting in Master of Magic. It seemed like there was in Fallen Enchantress, but there was equipping things. Again, here, yeah, this is crafting things specifically. They use mana to craft. Interesting. Okay, we have no hero, as we were discussing earlier. I would expect to randomly receive one or access to one within the first 5 to 10 minutes of playing. And this, yeah, this. I mean, this apparatus of these three sliders is directly from Master Magic, and that's pretty cool. As is transmuting. Okay, okay. So we are playing, at least mechanically, we are playing Master Magic here. This is a nice culmination of the stream, is to see this in the previous stream, to see where it started and how we ended up at essentially the same game with more things to do. Okay, so we have an army. Let's explore. And if I get killed by I call them script sprites, but if I get killed by sprites in this game, it might be too much like the original. So these are things I can explore. Threat very high. It's a little... There's a lot going on here visually. I don't think I'm a fan of the little stubs or the little stakes that determine my territory. Those look too much like the rocks, which look too much like the ore, which looks too much like everything. It's hard to parse initially. It's almost a little too... double? I gotta... Okay, it wants me to click twice to move things. That's a little strange. I don't see anywhere... Okay. There's just a chest just hanging out here. Okay, so that was one. Where are they? I found 11 gold. Let's... Oh, okay, we can't interact with it yet. Possible guardians, Hydra, and a slime. Okay, well, next turn. Boy, are you in for it. Okay. Obviously, I want to... Ooh, it's a level 11 Hydra. I'm not sure threat. This might have been a mistake. That's fine. Let's go get destroyed by a level 11 Hydra. I assumed by threat average it meant I would have a shot at it. Okay. This is unique. Being able to deploy your units. That looks a little silly though. Large man versus tiny man. But okay. Can you not go here? Okay. Battle HUD. Yep. It's a little weird to keep I assume the native language on the names, but no big deal. That's a big looking. So my camera is distinctly locked here. That's a little strange. Okay. Oh, so we're gonna die. Clearly. Let's meet our doom face on. Head on. Yeah, I can't move this at all, which feels awkward. I don't want to resolve the battle. I want to see if I can... Okay. Probably not. Oh, right. Oh, okay, so it's a little more turn-based. I guess I should cast a spell, huh? I've raised some zombies. Yeah, I really want to zoom in not just to see the action, but to get a better sense of my my options. But all right, poke at the Hydra, fights back, murders most of my people. Okay, yeah, this is gonna end in tears for me. You saved against my spell. Oh, good. Looks like we have different damage types here. Like blunt versus stabbing, maybe? That's interesting. I mean, yeah, we're gonna lose this fight through and through, and that's already in tradition for Master of Magic for us. So. This definitely feels really clunky. Not being able to zoom or rotate, but just having to like right-click things twice. I don't know. It's just a little awkward. So this looks like there's a... Actually, we have acid damage. Yeah, this is... Cast another spell. Maybe I can blood with this thing finally. Yeah. Alright. Just murder me so we can get out with it. Run away! Backstabbing. So attacks of opportunity. So I can't even leave. I have to actually get it to the end of the. Wow, that was a screen shake. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that certainly happened to us. I obviously should have left. I just kind of wanted to see what happened. So keep track of turns here. Okay, so you can maintain engineers. Build roads and destroy walls. Interesting. That's new. Does it kind of has the interface is very large and what's the right word? It's a thing that wouldn't go terribly miss on a tablet. Let's just say that. Also looks like he's a ghost with the weird outline we have. I wanted to see what not during. So we did pick our two planes. I don't know if we'll be playing long enough to find the Paradise plane, but it's there. I assume there's I will come across a portal of some design. Teleportation stone. Okay. Oh wait, it said very high, didn't it? Yeah, I don't want to go fight whatever's in there. Not a whole lot of in inheriting Master of Magic's DNA, this is also there's no easy place to go to kind of level up or get things. Like all the things that are around me, aside from these little chests, are impossible. These 8 gold chests are impossible for me to do anything with. But we'll keep poking around. Also, I keep just a design thing. I keep thinking that the borders are like I'm on a sky island. Like I'm in an island in the sky. And I keep thinking it's not necessarily clear that this is a fog of war. Like it makes sense if you think about it for like a couple more seconds. But like at first glance, this looks like a floating island, and this is the border of it. But that will probably change once I actually hit some sort of border. See, this is not this little highlighted scroll in the corner. This little of an event is not how you want to tell me that something happened. I should have a little icon that says, "Hey, you did a thing. You should do some more things." Transform plain, swamp, forest into tundra. Well, as Master of Magic hit on the Magic the Gathering notes, this is doing the same, but not quite as blatantly. You have found a lost tribe and incorporated them into one of your cities. I'm sure that was not an easy process. Okay, I just get people. Okay. Oh, I don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. Everything is very high to me, threat-wise. So I'll just keep finding these abandoned chests on the ground. I'm trying to set up kind of a... Oh. I found a chest full of mana. Okay. XP is irrelevant to my units that aren't hero units, so... Everything is a threat. I mean, we're certainly not... We're finding things, I guess. No, don't want to go there and get killed. Nope. Very high. Just lots of XP that I don't think my unit does anything with. Well, that's not true. I take it back. He does that. He does accrue XP. Okay, as predicted, as prophesized, we are randomly given a hero for gold. Not given, we're offered a hero that has equipment, has spells. Let's go bring him. I assume he's here. Sir Kalen. That is a fantasy-ass fantasy name. Nope. Guessing this is someone of a different faction? Guessing we'll get the you made a wizard friend dialogue here shortly. Or not. Some elven hussars in there, and a lot of fun stuff that I do not have access to. Okay, or we're not going to be introduced to the other player. I assume that's what that was, because they had a sigil over their head, and that's usually Tomb of the Forgotten Sorcerer, very high. Awkward beam of light. So there are a ton of these lootable little dungeon interactions that I do not have sufficient. I'll see. I do not have the sufficient army to engage with. Yes, it's still going. Like, okay, so we do have our magical nodes. We can check that off the list of MOM evergreen things. You know, kind of talking about things that are in all the games. So, at least for me, when you're gonna have a game that has a progression, that has a tree of, not even a tree, that has a, I don't want to say linear, but that has a path that they want you to take, right? That they want you, the example here being that they want me to interact with these dungeons and / encounters to get more spells, to get more items, to get XP. You know, the classic fantasy dungeon crawling loop. You want to have some of that that's accessible, at least. I would prefer it. Like I'm not saying I want to be surrounded by easy things to do, but I would like there to be feel like I can work on something instead of just literally combing the land for. At this point, I don't know what I'm looking for. I guess because all of these are going to be very high. Now, I will probably bring everyone together and try another one here shortly. In fact, I'll should do that now. Let's get the band back together here and work on the ones near our home. I guess. I mean, this is sort of what we did when we played Master of Magic, right? Everything was too hard for us to fight with, so we just found what we could, and but that's not necessarily a tenet of that game that I am nostalgic for. Like having just played Fallen Enchantress just before this, that was extremely more engaging, where I had encounters I could at least have a chance with, or have a chance at, as well as those that were clearly too hard. But I knew I could come back to those, and it was fun to explore in doing that. Here, I'm like literally just walking past things that I can't do, and there's a ton of these. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like on this screen alone, there's a dozen of these encounters. And among them are portals to what I'm guessing is the other plane that I selected on setup. What's oh, we've met. I see. Okay. You see, a thing finished in my city, but and it doesn't even stay there. It goes away. Yeah, that's really bad. Like, right. So I know that. Okay, so at the very least, it tells me that it's done by bringing me to the city itself. But still, like, don't make notices go away. Have at least like a 10-turn log or something. All right, we built. I forget what that was. Miners Guild. Okay. I guess we'll just pump out a bunch of units. And then maybe try another encounter once everyone's assembled here. Okay. Giant notification. That's fine. I can wait. Okay. I need to find one that's medium again, even with... Okay, so I have a hero... I have a hero and three other units. Find one that's medium again. Okay, average. Let's go fight this den. At least there's an auto scout. Okay, I have to tell it to do that every turn. Alright, allows to create. Guess I could craft Circalen some things here before I send him off into battle. That's fine. Do that. Having to tell it to automatically skip each turn is interesting. Okay, so he doesn't need to be in town. I can just get to a high perch and throw the equipment to him from up there. Okay. Well, we want him to be prepared. I don't really have the mana or time to invest in a Helm of Doom. Wait, did it actually? I see. I had to. Can't just be a normal helmet. Okay. Well, let's see how this goes. Okay, now my threat is very low. Smack my weapon against it. See what we can do. Oh wait, now I can move this. That was not the case before. All right. Okay, I don't know why the first battle didn't have this, but at least it looked like before the camera angle was far away enough that this would make sense. Okay. So try and cast a spell on something that's... Man, these guys are good at saving against my spells. It's my hero, I should have want him exposed like that. A little fidgety on the camera. Okay, sure. Is there a spell I can cast that they won't? Save against instantly? D20 roll. So we're also playing with. So this is the thing that Master of Magic did not do, is thread in effectively a role-playing game system. In this case, D20 with difficulty classes and saving throws into the game to kind of like codify its mechanics. I don't know that it needs that per se, but I'm gonna keep trying to bloodlet stuff. Nope. Cool. That seems useful. These are owlbears, by the way. Oh, that's my hero. Might not have been very smart. Again, the hero's really only the hero's benefit is they can equip stuff. And I guess have abilities and spells sometimes. Sure. Okay. This certainly looks like we'll be able to achieve victory here. Sounds are really bad too. They're not only are they lo-fi, but they're very, very jarring. I'm gonna keep casting this till I can bloodlet. Nope. Okay. Shambling mound. It certainly looks like a shambling mound, I guess. I've been able to successfully cast that once. I'm sure there are spells that are less resistible, but... Alright. We got Fame and... That's it. Okay. I think I'm going to call it there. So... It's certainly a very interesting thing to do, and I really like doing this. Is kind of seeing a legacy of a game, especially a much older game, and exploring kind of how it branched out and the mechanics that survived, and I think it was very helpful to an extent to have a game like Planar Conquest, which is effectively Master of Magic in 2016. 2016, right? Yeah, 2016. Without some of the depth... Does it have less depth to Master of Magic? At least in the... I feel like the spell selection maybe, but in general, I'd say it's basically Master of Magic in 2016. You know, with a few kind of things layered on. I don't know that it's. I certainly didn't have fun playing Planar Conquest. I don't see myself coming back to that one. I will actually pick up Fallen Enchantress, that campaign I started, and see that through. That was actually really cool. And I was actually surprised that it was as engaging as it was. But that was probably the most divergent from the Master of Magic recipe as well. And I wonder if... Yeah, I wonder if the lack of success of these games does point to there not being a real demand for it. Because if I said to a developer, make me Master of Magic in 2016, they would make something like Planar Conquest, right? I mean, there are many of the mechanics, many of the interface elements, many of the things that are in that game are literally transferred over to Planar Conquest. I mean, again, minus and plus some things here and there, but I don't know. I think maybe the balance is a part that needed to be updated. Like, sure, because like there's a few elements that of games we enjoy from our past where nostalgia it's a huge gravity well of nostalgia. Things get curved around it so heavily when thinking back to things that were our first experiences. Like I have heavy nostalgia for Master of Magic and games like that I played in the same era, like X-Wing and Doom, and even games even earlier than that. And some of those games still hold up. Doom still holds up. We're gonna play Doom on the stream at some point. We're gonna do a Doom. We're gonna look at all the Dooms at some point. But I don't know that Master of Magic holds up per se. It's even when looked at through the lens of a modern version of it. Now, granted, this version was clunky in its own right. The interface was like half mobile, half hardcore PC strategy game. The controls were super awkward. There wasn't a lot of variety. The balance was off. It's a lot of nothing to do in the beginning. So, but at its core, it's doing what Master of Magic did, and I didn't necessarily have fun with it. And when I played Master of Magic initially, the previous stream, it was more of looking at the depth there. But I still feel like Master of Magic had more to do, or more options and more choices, and this did not. And all of that initial customizing your sorcerer and picking your school of magic and the whole attribute system that I just went for a preset, that really only seemed to determine the spells I can cast and how much I charged up with the magical energy. It didn't seem to play that heavy into it. Whereas in the beginning, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that Master of Magic holds up mechanically through time. Just the core experience of the game holds up. Because you need and want more of it. Like, because it drew from Civilization, you want the things that Civilization has iterated on through the 6 versions of the game, 6+ if you count the console version they did. You want to kind of get some of those iterations, those developments that happen in those series. You want to kind of get that in a game like this. Like, I'd like to see half of the innovations that were in Civ 4, much less Civ 5, in a game like this, with this magic system in it, with the tactical combat in it, with all these things in it. But this has just literally been brought from the past to now and said, here you go, here's a modern version of it. So, well, that was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. We'll do this. I think we'll do similar things for other kind of games that I've enjoyed in the past to see if they and their predecessors and their spiritual successors hold up. I don't know if it would be useful to do a Civilization version of this. Probably not, because that would require a lot more videos or a lot more streams, and I don't know that would be as interesting, to be honest, because that's such a very linear thing, whereas these games were among 4 to 5 different developers. So anyway, that's been the spiritual successors to Master of Magic. If you listened and watched and enjoyed anything you heard or watched or saw, and you aren't following, I would really appreciate a follow, or at least a shout out. This is the extreme end of the talky part of the streams that I'll be doing, where I'll sit here and chatter on like a squirrel for an hour or two about games I like and mechanics and design decisions and all that kind of stuff. And if that appeals to you, and then there's a lot of that on this stream and on this channel. But we also do other stuff too. So that'll do it for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you later.